Hey Terry, first time in my 9 years on the beat that we haven't seen the offense during a practice visibility. Was there a motivation for that on your end?
Yeah, we just had a new install period for those guys. We had a shortened practice, so we just wanted to make sure we got that install put in today.
What have you seen from the offense since Saturday? What maybe leads you to believe that you guys are maybe trending in the right direction?
Like I said, we just had a new install period. I thought we ran the ball really well on Saturday, so we want to fine-tune that. We want to get Nick Singleton going. We need both of those backs to really be at their very best, and we're just kind of tuning that up.
Terry, we saw increased reps for Kobe Howard and Tyseer Denmark on Saturday. Is that something that's going to continue to increase moving forward?
Yes.
And what have you seen from those two that gives you reason to put them on the field?
They're competitors. You know, we need guys that are willing to compete and lay it on the line to win, and I think those guys can help us.
Coach, you talked about getting Singleton more involved in your last answer. How do you find that balance of in the offense, trying to get him going, but also, having plays that are for the back of Kaytron Allen that's been more productive this season?
Yeah, obviously Kaytron's running the ball really well. We want to try to get Nick the ball out in space. He's a faster back. He has the home run capability, hitting capability. So just trying to be strategic in getting the ball to him in space, and that's going to be a focal point for us.
Terry, how much time are you spending on recruiting this week, and what is your message to recruits? Because I'm sure kids are a little confused about what's going on.
Yeah, we're going to recruit this week. We're going to touch base, especially with all our commits and the guys that are kind of on the fringe of, they were committed and now they're kind of looking around. We're going to touch base with all those guys, and our message is, Penn State's had 3 coaches in, 60 years or whatever. We're going to hire a great coach, and this place is still Penn State.
Hey Terry, how's Jackson? He took a big hit on Saturday against Iowa, went into the locker room. Can you give us an update on what his status might be going forward?
Yeah, we got this bye week, so we're going to take that time to see where he is, but there's no update right now.
Terry, kind of going off of that, in the event that maybe he or Bronkemeyer isn't available, is there maybe an option for an emergency quarterback to step in?
Yeah, so we have Kritza is coming off the IR list, and he'll be listed as one of the quarterbacks on the roster.
Terry, when you look at this bye week and then also the next 2 games coming up, what is the message in the locker room right now? And can you comment on the emotional state? Because I know going into Iowa, it was still pretty volatile.
Yeah, so the message right now is stay together. We went and fought, and I told you guys last week we'll get those guys to play hard. They played extremely hard. They left it up there. Now the key is finish. There's plays on the offense, the defense, the special teams where we're just leaving game-changing plays out there. We've got to close, and the defense has to get off the field when the offense scores and puts us up, and the offense has to score touchdowns instead of field goals late in the game, and we can't have bobble, mishandle, punt return, kick return. So we got to get all that cleaned up, and those are all the little things that are keeping us from victory.
Terry, to piggyback on Kobe and Tyseer seeing a little more time, do you maybe get a sense to this point why those 3 transfers maybe haven't been as productive as hoped so far this year?
Not really sure why. That's a good question. My job is to just try to change things up, and the success was the success that they had, and I'm coming in with a new set of eyes and lenses to see this thing, and I've seen Kobe and Tyseer because I coach the DBs, and I see them every day, and I know what they're capable of, so I'm gonna give them a shot.
Hey Terry, what's it been like for you being the boss? Practice schedule, running the meetings. How's that transition been for you?
I think the transition has been really good. This week has slowed down tremendously from last week. This is a big job. This is a CEO job, and it's so much more than coaching guys on the football field. It's all the organization, it's the media, you're running everything, and so all of that was kind of rehashing some old memories from when I was a head coach, times 10,000. I think this week is slowing down. This week, I've already watched more film on Ohio State than I watched on Iowa the whole week last week. So we're ahead of the curve, and I think now we're going to settle on in and kind of get into a routine and just keep putting our best foot forward.
Terry, Chaz Coleman, I believe, has played 12 combined snaps the last couple games. Is he dealing with something injury related, or is it more of a personnel decision on Jim's end why we haven't seen much of him?
Chaz was sick going into, I think it was the UCLA game, and he's just now getting healthy. And then with the Iowa game, Chaz is more of a pass rusher, and he didn't fit the game plan for what Iowa was going to bring. They were going to run the ball, and he's a little thinner on that side. That's why Yvonne played a lot more in that game.
To stick in that room, I think we saw Zariah go out early in that game, and then Jalen was out on the availability report. I don't think we saw him today. Do you have an update on either of them?
Yeah, there's no updates on them. With the bye week, I fully anticipate those guys will be back at some point.
Terry, we've heard from some of your DBs that have said that they've gone to defensive staff meetings to try and get a better grasp of what Jim wants out of the defense. I've never heard DBs doing that before. What do you feel like they have a grasp on this defense, or what can you maybe do to kind of keep that learning process going?
Yeah, those guys come in there sometimes when we watch practice or watch the film after practice. There's a lot of combination calls, right? If the offense does this, we're going to do that. And there's like 6 different options to a single play. And, sometimes there's not really a right or wrong. They got to just confirm a call so we're all on the same page. And then you all obviously want to be in the perfect call. And so those guys are trying to learn that. I think they have a good grasp of it, but they're still learning it. And, it's still a work in progress, and we just got to get the mental thinking out of it where our guys can play fast and be more athletic and better players.
Is there anything that you can do to speed that up, or is that just how long this defense takes for guys to learn?
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah. It's very complicated. It's pro-like. Mm-hmm. So this is really good for our guys that dream and wish to go to the NFL. This is what they're going to get, and they got to understand you have to apply yourself. Right, where football may have been so easy where, I can grab that, I can grasp that, I can grasp that. Now all of a sudden, you have to study this like education, like going to math class,
Coach, you mentioned trying to find a spark and also making changes. Has there been any thought to maybe giving other coaches more of a voice into play calling on either side of the ball, trying to, just change the voice in the players' heads?
The play callers are the play callers. We do have opinions from everyone else. That's kind of been one of my roles here this last week. Just getting ideas of, how everyone thinks of the offense and what we think we should be doing, and how everyone thinks of the defense and what we think we should be doing. There are subtle changes that are have been taking place. We're just going to continue to try to tweak here, tweak there. We're not trying to blow this thing up. At the end of the day, man, we've lost 4 games, and in any game, one play could make a difference. We're trying to close the gap for that one play difference, and that's what we're grasping onto.
Hey, Terry, do you think that you can get to a place where you play complementary football with this team across the ball?
We have to. It's the only way to success, right? And all 3 teams have to be clicking on all cylinders. Obviously we go up to Ohio State. They're the best team in the country. They're the most talented team in the country. We have to be clicking on all cylinders to give ourselves a chance for that game.
Terry, on Saturday night, you talked about the struggles of getting the ball downfield, getting completions even in the intermediate range, and you said you needed to fix that. It was your job. Have you had some significant dialogue on that subject with Andy over the last few days? And could you maybe, if you have, could you tell us maybe where you think that process is going?
Yeah, we had those conversations last week, and we continue to have those conversations. That's going to be a part of, Tyseer and Kobe as a part of that, right? Like, how can we get the ball in different areas of the field? We've just got to continue to grow our pass game beyond the intermediate zone, right? So, you know, that's your digs, your curls, your comebacks, and then vertically deep. And, you know, just to, with our run game starting to click and starting to hit on all cylinders, we've got to be able to play action off of that and go in behind the linebackers and develop that pass game. So we've been talking about that a little last week and a little more this week. We have to execute that to have a chance again.
Terry, there was so much emotion from the sideline during that game against Iowa. Is this still a team that wants to fight to the end of the season?
Yeah, they don't have a choice if they're going to play for me. Like, quit isn't in my vocabulary. Like, we all have a job to do, and everyone's got to play to the end. You got to give your soul, and you know, things aren't going our way right now, but the only way to get out the storm is to run through the storm, and we're going to run through the storm until we get out the storm, and we'll come out and the sun will shine on us, and we'll all be better for it.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.